One of the tools successful public speakers employ is they want to warm up to the audience, and they want the audience to warm up to them. You step into an auditorium full of people that you're going to give a speech on, or you're going to inform them on some important details. You usually like to warm up that crowd. You usually like to break the ice with a personal story, a little bit of humor, a cartoon quip or a joke. So I'm going to try that out today and see if that actually works. We're going to start out this audio on Tuesday the 8th of March 2022, or so they'd have us believe, with a little bit of humor, people. I never said I'm a stand-up comedian, but here we go. And what did I choose to be humorous about? What do I want to do to break the ice with you and warm up with you people, and you guys can then warm up with me? Your perplexed, most blue, incredibly humble messenger on this wall out here, windy-ass wall, 21-mile-per-hour wind wall. Here's the humor. It's the weather report. Now, I can't prove this, people, but I am beginning to wonder if the extended forecast writers over there at Raytheon and Lockheed Martin are simply not just getting bored with their job. They know it's phony. They know they're putting out bullshit. So they're going to take a humorous approach and make their job a little more exciting, palatable, easier to swallow and deal with. Let's go with today's weather report, because this is comic relief. First thing I see, we're going to have a winter weather advisory. I'm not even going to click on that, because I don't give a shit. It is what it's going to be, what they say it's going to be. So Tuesday, that is today, high of 33. Then tomorrow, we drop down to -9. Then we go up to a high of 9. On Thursday, we go down to a -13, but we go up to a high of 22. People, I'm talking about less than 24-hour periods here. From Thursday, high of 22, we go down to -18 degrees on Friday, up to a high of meager 5 degrees. Saturday morning, -18, we start out our day, and we climb up to 40. Are you seeing this, people? Seesaw roller coaster ride. Are you telling me this is how it's always been? I had a conversation with somebody yesterday at the bottom feeder pit, and they say, oh yeah, this happens all the time. When does this happen all the time? From -18 to 40, that is a 58-degree weather whiplash swing. So, I mean, it's comedy. It's every day I click on this, all these numbers have changed. There is nothing consistent except the swings, the gaps are getting larger and larger. So there was my attempt at humor. Now that I've warmed up to you, my faceless audience, because I can't see you, and you're warmed up to me, your faceless, humble messenger on the wall, we can get into what I wanted to talk about. Speaking about the bottom feeder pit, and this is what caught my attention, is there was a conversation that I rubbernecked on, I was eavesdropping on, happened to hear it, and that is, the debate was, would we ever go to war with Russia? Because I'll tell you what, people, if you look at the history of this, since 2015, Republicans and Democrats both have really insisted upon they want a hot war with Russia. Not this sanctions bullshit. And these sanctions, by the way, are hurting whom? LA, they're paying over $7 a gallon for gas. We aren't going to be far behind. It's not going to get better. Local farmers that bought urea fertilizer for around $250 a ton last year, over $800 a ton this year, and that's if you can get it. No, I'm not Chicken Little, people. I'm not saying the sky's falling. I'm saying wake up, because this is already happening to us here and now, and it involves war with Russia and this Ukrainian insanity. Let me first say why I think this Ukrainian thing is insane. Do you know that we've had a hot, active war in Yemen for how many years now? Thousands and thousands of people have died from direct combat actions, from direct bombing, and thousands more from residual actions. You know, the supply chain line is all effed up. People are starving. Lack of medical attention, lack of medical supply. Hey, lack of living doctors. I mean, who wants to be a doctor in a war zone? How about Ethiopia? You ever heard about that place? The home of the world's fastest land animal, the Ethiopian chicken. Yeah, they have been battling for years down there. Thousands more dying, same reasons, direct result of combat, same reasons, direct result of the residual effects of war. the crashed supply line, lack of medical supplies, medical attention. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit about Yemen. Nobody gives a shit. Horrific that it is. Oh, but we just can't have these deaths in the Ukraine. We all got to concern ourselves with the Ukraine. And one more war that people don't see as a war. Our southern border people. An invasion of military-aged men. Yes, I haven't seen any pictures of them humping AK-47s or M4s or squad assist weapons across the border. But how hard would it be to retool once you got across? And I'm wondering how hard it'd be to smuggle weapons across that open and porous border. That President Joe Biden just recently pulled Border Patrol people to help with Ukrainian refugees entering into Poland, I believe. So let me get back to my train of thought here. The conversation was, would we ever go to war with Russia? Well, if it wasn't for Gab, Gab.com, Golf Alpha Bravo, I would not have known what took place over the weekend. And what took place over the weekend, people, is the U.S. Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken and Nod, Anthony Blinken, on a CBS News show, morning news show, said, we have given the green light for Poland, a NATO ally, to supply combat aircraft to the Ukraine, and we will resupply the aircraft that they donated to the Ukraine. So they're in exchange MiGs for F-16s, apparently. Now, people, what would you call that if you wouldn't call that an act of war? If I was a Russian, if I was Vlad the Impaler in Moscow right now, I'd say, God damn, the U.S. just put their nose into the middle of a hot war between us, the Russians, and the Ukrainians. That is an act of war. Let me put this in a different form. We have declared war on Russia by our actions, not our words. Nope. Congress hasn't had any declaration. Nope. Nobody's told the puppet Joe Biden to say we are at a hot war. But come on, how many times have you heard it, people? Actions speak louder than words. You get what I'm trying to tell you? When you take a proxy, a NATO proxy like Poland, and you have them do your dirty deeds done dirt cheap, and you tell them we will support you with these dirty deeds, go ahead and give them your aircraft and we'll resupply the aircraft that you're missing. What would you call that if not an act of war? I mean, you certainly couldn't call it a social event. You certainly couldn't call it humanitarian relief. Yes, we're giving humanitarian aid to the Polacks and the Ukrainians with the combat aircraft. People, I'm telling you, it's amazing. People, we can't, and I was guilty of this too, because I don't watch mainstream media. I don't watch CBS News. I did not see the clip of Blinken, Secretary of State, warmongering extraordinaire, say, yeah, it's green lighted, people. Yeah, we got an active war going on with Russia, and I'm telling you, you're talking about a Russia that's got a very powerful inventory of some pretty nasty weapons, and hey, all's fair in love and war, right? So we're already involved in a war, in my opinion. I don't know how you could say it any differently, and we're already feeling the residual effects of that war. Watch your gas prices, people. They are going to go up. And when they go up and the price of oil per barrel goes up, what do you think happens at your grocery stores? If you can get it. Because everything moves in just-in-time inventory, just-in-time delivery on 18-wheelers. And they consume a lot of fuel loaded to travel a loaded mile. That's about it I got to tell you. I'm glad I got to give you some comedy relief before the doom and gloom. But there should be no debate about this ever again. We are at war with Russia. We have declared a war with Russia. We have actively taken a step to further that declaration. Introducing combat aircraft into a war between two warring countries is aggressively an act of war. And I still don't give a shit about the Ukraine, but I do give a shit about our southern border. And while everybody's banging the drum, Democrats, Republicans alike, about the Ukraine, what in the hell is going to happen when those hordes of unwashed masses, military-aged men flowing across our southern border? What's going to happen when they disperse and recoagulate, re-meet up somewhere in the United States? I just have to shake my head. So anyway, enjoy the weather, because the weather's going to be what the guy with the big hand on the big knob says it's going to be, okay? You don't like 58-degree weather whiplash? Too bad. Deal with it. All right, people, you know what I'm going to tell you. Stuff to do, and I'm all about stuff, and I got stuff to do. I got to get stuff done today. I've been screwing out the last 2 days.